ULTI.TV.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to UKU Nationals. Last game of the day for us. We've got Alba in blue, Scotland's finest, taking on Bristol Open in the red, and it is Bristol beginning this game on offense. And there's, oh my word, what a layout D that would have been. A little bit of contact, leaving some afters there. Wow, I mean, that was almost a sensational start to this game. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's so close to getting there, isn't it? It's so close. Maybe a split second too late, perhaps. In the end, the disc will stay in Bristol's possession, but they're trying to find a reset with the stall count riding. Contested underneath pass. You can tell that Alba are putting on the pressure early here defensively. Trying to get a continuation down the line. This is going to float a little bit. Really well reeled in by Tate, using the full length of his 6'6" height. And now he's taking off deep, but it's not there to put. Turning, finding, isolating the reset of Easton. Large portion of this Alba contingent will be familiar to those who watched Black Eagles for many years. Scotland's and the UK's finest mixed team for a long period of time. Big overhead towards this near side. Lot more comfortable catch, that one for Tate. And now Easton blades towards the far corner. Acres and acres of space for the Alba receiver. Jinxie, who has been a previous champion in Australia, won Div 1 men's with Mammoth out there in 2019. That time reeling the score, and it's 1-0. A break to start this game here for Alba, looking very good early. Bristol never really got out of the shadow of their own end zone. The one time they tried to be a bit more expansive, tried to string a few passes together. Alba were ready and they were waiting for them. So it's 1-0, first point in this game, going Alba's way. A nice early break on the board. Both of these sides trying to sew up a spot in the semi-finals. Both these sides went down to Clapham. It was 15-7 in Clapham's favour for Bristol. A lot tighter between Clapham and Alba, 12-10 the final score. And in the Lemmings game, Bristol snuck by their National Cup opponents. That was a very tight one, 14-12, but Alba dispatched Lemmings fairly comfortably, a 15-7 scoreline of their own. So going by the form book, both this year and in previous years, Alba are very much the favourites, but Bristol will be hoping to play spoiler here this afternoon. A little bit of zone coming out from Alba, just throwing a few different looks at Bristol defensively, seeing how well they can deal with it. Quite a, they're not trying to let Bristol get settled into any rhythm. It's Summerby looking at a reset, thought about the reset, does go. It's a slightly dicey scuba. It was floating away from him, but was in enough space to make the catch relatively comfortably. Again, Bristol still working it very much within their own territory, haven't really advanced down the field at all. Looking quite stagnant, it has to be said. Just slowing things down. They're not really getting much flow as Goddard goes out towards this near side. For the Irishman, Timothy Peters, who you may remember throwing a scorching lefty thumber at Nationals a few years ago. It will live long in my memory because, come on, a lefty thumber, how could it not? And that time, it was really lasered deep and far too strong to be reeled in. So another break opportunity here for Alba. already got the one break on the board from their first possession. Turned Bristol early on, put it in, And now they're trying to extend that advantage. Going for a relatively horizontal look, but they've got a bit more isolation for one cutter who comes back into the handling core. Now they're working underneath, and the Alba offense is going to work. The flowing locks put it deep. They've got a receiver in the end zone, rises and climbs the ladder. It's Warnock who reels it in. And Alba stamping their authority on this game early. Andrew Warnock there catching the goal. So put Alba up 2-0. His ultimate highlight, apparently he threw a completion once, which, you know what? I respect that. Apparently also his dissertation's due on Monday. And that is commitment to Ultimate that I can respect as someone who frittered away a lot of my time as an undergraduate playing Ultimate. But I worked very not hard for my captain's degree, and I'm proud of it. Getting some more patrons coming in. Thank you very much for everyone who has contributed via our Patreon page. You can find us at ULTI.TV. Dr. Martha Maeta is our latest patron. That's good to see. Everything that you can afford to pledge is greatly appreciated to help keep us providing coverage of these events for free. David Whitehorn pledged earlier this morning as well. Thank you very much. Your subscriptions and pledges are hugely appreciated. It's a job that we love doing, and it's not possible without your support, be that monetary or just in terms of good vibes. Everything is hugely welcome. That pool's putting them right in on that front end zone cone, and now they're in their own end zone, and you better believe that Alba are thinking Callahan. Not going to come, though, as the hammer from Bristol is over the top, and wow, Alba are on fire early. The defensive pressure is relentless. And this one is floaty. They're trying to get their big men to bring it down, and well, there are a few bigger men than 6'6". That is the height of Ian Tate, and he reeled in the goal, and it's 3-0 now for Alba. That shot was perhaps slightly less judicious than some of their previous attempts, but hey, you can't teach tall, and that time Ian Tate reeled it in, and you know what? When you've got receivers like that, I don't think I can blame people for putting it in the air a little bit. I mean, it is spicy, I will give them that. And apparently, with receivers like Tate, they can handle that spice. So you know what? Why not put it up? Looks like Bristol are going into an early timeout here, because I'm sure they would have planned and planned and planned. But as I think it's a Mike Tysonism, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And unfortunately for Bristol, that's what Alba have metaphorically done, because it's 3-0 with barely any time off the clock. And, you know, if Bristol can't get a foothold on this, you know, on this game very quickly, it's really going to run away from them in the semi-final berth with it. So the winner of this game comes second in the pool, will pay first place in the other pool, which will be Chevron Action Flash. They played their last game against Kapow a little bit early, so they could all get a slightly longer evening to themselves, which, you know what? Fair enough, tough day for Kapow today. Finishing bottom of the pool, going winless. Elsewhere in that pool, Smashed are playing Devon for the right to face Clapham in the semi-final. I'm assuming it's Clapham. Obviously, Lemmings could beat Clapham, but the form book strongly suggests otherwise. And I think even then they would probably top the pool on head-to-head. Bristol trying a fresh 7 out there. Just desperately trying to, you know, find a way to keep the Alba defense at bay, because it is swarming and it is stifling. And so far, Bristol have not had any answers. Here's Andrew Dick to pull. It's a good pull as well. It's hanging in the middle of the end zone. It's caught by Bristol, and Alba's pulling has been very good, and it's why they've put on so much defensive pressure early, because not only are these pulls going deep, but they've got a lot of hang time on them, so it means that the defense is ready and waiting by the time the pull is caught, and it means that Bristol aren't able to burgle any free yards off the pull. At the moment, they're just swinging it back and forth in their own end zone. Penning finds an option down this near side. Bristol beginning to work it downfield, but Penning goes back to his teammate. Summerby trying to marshal traffic from his own end zone, but again, they're not going forward. Oh, Agnew advanced, and Agnew was there. He was waiting to try and steal that one away, but he was a half second too late. Unfortunately for Bristol, they can't really make the best of it. And again, it's a real grind for them. They really have to work. It's slow going. Here's Peters on the near sideline. He's got a variety of throws in his locker. Wow, that was a snap adjustment to keep the disc alive there from Joe Friend. Good job he's got those long levers coming from that 6'1" frame. And now there's a little bit of pace, but generally it's slow. They're looking downfield for a couple of beats and then going into the backfield and trying to move the disc again. And it means that it's not really threatening these defenders. They're not having to make decisions about who to cover. At the moment, it's relatively simple for them. Here's Peters. This is a nice gainer downfield. What a grab. Sensational stuff. Picture perfect layout form there from Penning, as Alba's defense now finally with a little bit of pressure, because Bristol have got it beyond halfway for the first time. Now at the attacking brick mark for Bristol. Can they punch in their first score of the game? Trying to find the options free, but the defense has clamped down once more here for Alba. Here's Penning. Oh, big. And big bid, I guess, as well. But this one played towards the far side. Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, wow, they've wasted the opportunity. Ambitious attempt for the far corner, but it was difficult. It was over their heads. They tried to track it down and reel it in, and they couldn't do so. Here again, we're getting a replay of that layout. That is a thing of beauty. Put a poster of that on some kid's wall, I tell you what. That's a hell of a photo. That one, the bid just doesn't quite get there. And then maybe Dials rushes to throw a little bit there. Tries for a couple of receivers in the back corner, and the Alba defenders maybe do just enough, combined with a slightly errant placement on that throw. Bristol got so close, but they still have nothing to show on the scoreboard as Shaw. Little backhand into space in the centre of the pitch. In the backfield is Boxall. A role that will be familiar to him from his time on Alba and Black Eagles and a number of other strong teams in Scotland. Pass goes off into the centre. Dick with a continuation, a little bit of fancy footwork, goal signalled. It's Cameron Agnew there, putting Alba up 4-0. They are really running away with this game. Interestingly, there are a couple of player surveys filled in for Agnew. Then, you know, one of them, which I think is clearly not from him. Any more fun facts? No, I'm incredibly dull, which is, you know, a little bit harsh. He's clearly been done a mischief there for his teammate. But in the more serious, well, I think is the more serious one, any more fun facts? Starting a new job on Monday. So, you know what? Actually, maybe he's not that interesting.
I don't know. Huge congratulations to him now. Starting a new job on Monday. That's no small achievement.
I tell you what, coming in from, you know, especially if there's a good weekend here, into a new job, you'll be absolutely bouncing, although probably very tired. Joining me in the booth, picking up the co-commentary mic. Hello, Rob Henderson. This is new for you.
Hello, Benji. How are you?
I tell you what, I am loving life, despite the fact that I have swallowed a tube of sandpaper.
Well, indeed. I drew the short straw, and it was my turn to come and try and rescue you from your own voice at this point.
It is, I'll be honest, I am struggling with it a little bit here, but I would not rather be, there's nowhere else I would rather be.
You're doing a marvellous job, Benj, and I'm sure all our subscribers, patrons and viewers would absolutely agree with me on that.
The only problem is that some fool, i.e. me, was instructed to put a webcam in front of me, which is very weird. I'm much more comfortable behind the mic rather than in front of the camera, but such is life. Here we go, Bristol trying to work away their first point of the game once more. High release backhand over the top, it invited the bid, but it was reeled in comfortably in the end by Bristol, and now they're trying to get that more movement downfield. More zone coming out here. And there are spaces, but I think they're a little bit reticent to take the more speculative shots, perhaps. Taking advantage of the bid there, though, to get off to the races. Now they're going quickly. Can they capitalise before the Alba defence gets set? Perhaps not quite. Big swing across.
Excellent swing there, breaking the force.
Looks like they're going to go, looks like they're switching the force a little bit here. I think trying to force middle, get it right through that congested area in the centre of the pitch. But it's a blade zinged across the end zone, finding a target on this near side, trying to find the shirt number. I think it's number 24 for Bristol. Regardless of who made the catch, the result is the same. It's Mike Richardson. Big target to hit, 6'3", and didn't need to be though, because that was a relatively comfortable catch, as that puts Bristol's first point of the game on the board, but they're still big deficit here. They're down 4-1.
Yeah, that's right, Benji. You just feel as though Bristol really needed something from that point, even from the previous point, just to get themselves going, just to hit that rhythm that we've come to expect from them over the years.
I'm just seeing it again now on the replay. This is good because they're using the full width of the field properly. And find an option in plenty of space. Alba defense a little bit frustrated as to how a player got quite so free. Normally, I'd say that's suspiciously free, but no picks called, just a little bit of a communication breakdown.
It's the first time that we've really seen Bristol stretch that zone, especially getting towards the end zone as well, stretching that defense out, and Alba didn't really have a response.
So here's a novelty for this game. Alba are coming out on offense. But, you know, I think we've seen a lot of these players on the pitch already, so they're not coming into this completely cold. Finding a pass through the centre. Here's Dick looking downfield. Again, easy gainer. Agnew surveys his options. Turns, finds, isolates the reset.
Good
Boxall.
intensity from Bristol here.
Yeah, you can tell that they're being loud on defense. They're trying to cause problems, but so far Alba are more than equal to them. Beautiful inside-out backhand there, breaking the force from Ridley. Dickers, he will throw those overheads on occasion, so he's right to fake them. That one is airmailed though from Boxall. Bristol earned their first turn as a D line, of course, because Alba have been starting on D and Bristol have been starting on O every other point. Can they take advantage of the opportunity that was gifted to them relatively by Alba? Oh, really good attack of that disc there, because I thought the defender was going to pick it off. But Haron did a very good job, and he finds the option in the end zone. So hello, maybe Bristol do have a little bit of life in this game. Their first break of the day, or of the game at least, puts them down just 2 points. 4-2 is the current score to Alba.
These Saturday evening games, Benji, these final games on the first day of the tournament, the legs are starting to feel tight and a little bit sore. The fitness is really starting to come into play now. And what we're seeing here is these tiny little momentum changes that happen in these games, these crucial games. And it's going to be fascinating to see how Alba respond to this little burst from Bristol.
There's that was really the key pass. I thought it was going to be snagged with the right hand of the Alba player, but in the end, you know, full credit to Huron, who attacked the disc nicely and then just popped it into the end zone for Bristol's first break of the game. So first time we've seen the Alba O-line take the field, and that is a pretty inauspicious start from their perspective, getting broken at the first time of asking. So they will try and tighten that up on this point and this possession. This is the more downwind direction with the wind. What we have is going from right to left. It's not particularly strong. Certainly players of this quality you would expect to be able to deal with these conditions, but it's something that you have to adjust for.
That's it, and even though it's reasonably predictable, like you say, right to left, it is picking up from time to time, which does make throws a little bit more challenging.
Agnew catches the ball. Centering pass, so it's just in front of that brick mark. Find the option on the far side, pivoting, looking around. Go into the centre to Boxall. Agnew comes under, plants, cuts deep, using the full depth of the end zone. Cool as you like. That's a much better possession there from Alba, scoring in relative comfort. They've reopened a 3-point advantage. The score is now 5-2.
The Alba O-line will be absolutely delighted with that. Come straight out, do a super quick score, very simple. Couple of simple continuations and away we go. Great chance to put to rest the previous point. Oh.
There's a young fan on the sideline. I think he's a bit young to have represented Great Britain, but he has a shirt and I don't, so evidently he's better at Frisbee than I am, which is probably not hard. Here we go, here's the replay. Boxall looks a little bit of a fake, gives the nod. He knows the disc is there to be placed, and it's just a feather touch towards the back of the end zone.
Superb hang time, eh?
Easy.
Brilliant to see.
Easy in the end. So here's Bristol's O-line coming back out. You know, it's been tricky for them, but they've grown in confidence, I think, as the game has progressed.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. I'm expecting the rest of the game to be a much more even affair.
The question is, did Alba put too much distance on them early? That is the question.
That is the question. Only Ultimate has the answer.
Look at you. Like a real commentator, it's cute. Again, you can tell that the pressure is tight from Alba, but Bristol are dealing with this relatively capably at the moment. Oh, the one thing I will say, I think the stack is very far downfield. And it means that, you know, these unders, it's a real work to get a gainer that is not necessarily going to be that big. And it takes away the amount of space you have to shoot deep, really. And another contested under. That one's a bigger round pivot. It's going to go over the head of Peters, chases it down. And, I mean, there was an attempt. Technically, there was an attempt.
It just shows that these guys are willing to give it absolutely everything to chase that disc down.
I think it shows that he's not afraid to play for the camera, which, you know what, I can respect that.
If you're on the live stream pitch, you've got to give it everything, haven't you?
And why not? Who cares if you look like a mug in front of hundreds of people? You admire the confidence. This Alba D-line offense is moving so quickly, and they're already on the doorstep. Joel Terry, just about squeezes it in there. I've got a thing that you should never trust people with first names for surnames. And, well, he almost proved it right there, but in the end he was rescued with the full extension grab at Alba. Break once more. Their 4-point advantage that they opened up at the start of the game is now back in their possession. They're 6-2 up now.
And as we move towards the half, Benji, you really feel as though Bristol have got to do something here, put together another couple of points like they did previously. Alba have come straight back at them, having taken those 2 points in a row. And I just wonder if they've got anything left in their locker that can come out and surprise Alba with.
It's interesting because, you know, obviously they want to try and, you know, get some breaks back and start eating away at the lead. But their offense has been so difficult that they might have a variety of defensive looks that they can throw out there. But if the D-line's not getting out there, you know, it's difficult to do that. And the offense, you know, obviously you expect there's no line. You don't want to have to play defense, but if you'd come into a tournament as no line and not expect to play some defense, I would be very surprised. It's just that you don't necessarily get the same situations to set it up that you get the privilege to on a D-line. This is a deep pull from Alba. Alba's pulling has been sensational this game. Once more, it's right in the middle of the end zone where the Americans would have the reverse brick mark, which is a thing.
Thanks, America.
On the near side again, having to tow it in here. They're really clamping and compressing them towards this near sideline. Taylor looks around, centers off into the center. It's off the hands of Sanders. And Alba, 1-2, a little overthrow perhaps, but thankfully Alba have the athleticism to rescue it. And already this game is flying past and we're nearly at half already. 7-2 the current score. Alba are having themselves a game out here, Rob.
They absolutely are. Every single opportunity they're taking it. And sadly at the moment for Bristol, the half can't come quite quickly enough.
It's a problem because on the one hand you want the half time to come because it gives you a really good opportunity to kind of take a breath, reset, do a little bit more analysis. But on the other hand, if the half comes really quickly, it's not a good thing because it means that Alba are keeping a big lead in front of you. So it's, you know, they used one timeout already this half. Both teams get 2 timeouts a half to use.
And so very often we see it, don't we, Benji, that people don't take the full allotments of timeouts. I think we've actually been quite lucky today. I specifically remember in the Scram London Masters women's game we saw just before this one, full allotment of timeouts were taken.
I think that's because LMU were running a 12-player roster. And you know what? Especially when you're coming up against teams who are taking 20-plus players, making use of those breaks is not just, you know, a good idea. It's almost mandatory, really, just to give yourself the breath. This time Bristol get the centering pass off, but there's no continuation from that. They're moving it into position, and there's no easy flow. Peters lashing it deep once more. I mean, that would have been some grab, because he would have had to have been Superman. And in the end, Peters, you know, on the one hand, you've got to let your shooters shoot. I appreciate that. But he's kind of, the precision with the throws hasn't necessarily been there.
And he knows it as well. You could see the frustration etched all over his face after that last throw.
There's a huge expansive swing over to the far side. They don't take it though. Lovely little inside out backhand finds Easton, who fakes the okie doke and then continues onto this near side for Tate. Look out, it was such hard work, such a grind for Bristol to get anywhere. And for Alba, it's as easy as you like. Well, as I say that, tell you what, he's done very well to get down there from 6'6" up to a couple of inches, maybe half a foot off the floor. And Tate was thinking about the goal as well, but instead they reset into the centre. This Alba D-line really ticking away at the moment. But I guess maybe I put the mockers on them because perhaps was expecting that cut to continue from Terry, but not quite on the same page as the handler there. So Bristol will get a second opportunity here to try and reduce that already sizable deficit. And this one, is going to pop up. Can Bristol rescue it? There we go. That's a bit of an energizing play. Clap, catch, layout to keep it alive. Here's Peters dumping the disc back off. It looks like it's such hard work for Bristol to get anything. And they've got such athletes, Alba, that are happy to really throw themselves around.
Unbelievable pressure being put on by this Alba line.
Summerby fakes the deep look. Instead gets a nice under there to Peters. Catches the disc back off, and there's a little bit of flow here in this offense, but it's stagnated towards that near sideline. Reset opens up. Easton very nearly laid out for the point. Well, he did lay out for the point block there, and he very nearly got it. The bid commits. There's a player free in the end zone. It hangs, but Bristol reel it in. They're going to get their third point of the game on the board. And Pennings, well, he's been one of the brighter spots, I think, for Bristol so far in this game.
And that's one of the first times they've really managed to get open. That seemed like an easier shot to take than we might have seen previously. and I wonder whether Alba, the D-line, having been out for so much of this first half, whether they're ready for a little bit of a rest.
Potentially. I mean, the thing is, when you're kind of doing it comfortably at the moment, is that you can afford to perhaps to put your O-line on for a little bit of D as well, just to keep them involved in the game a little bit rather than keeping them a little bit separate, because especially if you have a big D roll, sometimes the offense comes in, they haven't seen the pitch for a fair old while, and sometimes you need to be kind of in the game. We're seeing now that the Black Eagles, Alba players, excuse me, a lot of them of course used to play for Black Eagles, but now in the Open Division with Alba, they're not afraid to put these big bids in, but of course the risk of putting those bids in is that if you don't get there, you leave. You've got a player with a disc in their hands and there's no force on, and that means that they really can pick their poison for where they distribute the disc, and that time goes into the end zone depending for the score. A lot of the Scram players staying around to support their compatriots.
It's great to see, isn't it? Everybody back together again.
Isn't it just? It's so weird after not seeing anyone for, year and a half, 2 years. It's a proper Ultimate tournament again. How I've missed it. So here's Alba trying to take us into half-time. Bristol trying to go with some zone just to slow down what has been a rampant Alba offense. Expansive look downfield. Looking for an option in the centre. So it goes downfield. Oh, I thought that was a little bit dicey, and there's going to be I think a contested stall perhaps on the throw. He was holding onto it for a while. And in the end, I think it's going to be retracted. The score will stand, and that will be Alba going into half with an 8-3 margin. What a first half it's been from the Scots here.
If we'd have asked them at the start of the game, will you win half 8-3? I think they'd have bitten your hand off straight away, Benji.
But it's not been a fluky 8-3. They've really been good value for it, I think.
Very consummate performance, and they're certainly establishing themselves as a team that other teams are going to be afraid of for the rest of the schedule. I
think they should be as well. So with half going in 8-3, teams will have a little bit of time to make some adjustments. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back for the second half very shortly.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
our
work to cover more events in the future, and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Our swanky advertisement does not lie. If you want to help support and grow Ultimate and Ultimate coverage here in the UK, in Europe, or internationally as well, then the way to do that is by going onto our Patreon and on our website, so you can help support. It is www.ULTI.TV. You can find us, just search ULTI.TV on Patreon as well. Are doing the best we can to provide as much Ultimate coverage and keep it as affordable as possible. But of course that doesn't happen without our very generous patrons, subscribers, pledges. Even if it's a one-off donation, no matter how much it is greatly appreciated. And if you're not in a position to contribute financially, which I totally get given the pandemic going on, even just, sharing it around, saying that actually you've enjoyed the work we've done, getting in contact with us, it's very warmly received, and we really appreciate everyone who's got in touch and supported us so far.
You have to give huge credit to all the volunteers that are here today, making sure that the broadcast stream goes ahead, that we can bring you all these fantastic games at the UKU Nationals 2021, but also to the volunteers on site here today who are giving their time so generously to make the tournament run, and to make sure that all of these players can play Ultimate at the top level in this country.
Honestly, if 2 years ago you'd have told me that, did you have fun? Great, you won't be covering any Ultimate for 2 years. I probably would have cried. I'm not I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's been a rough time for everyone around the world, and it's only kind of really being here, or like on the drive up yesterday, I was saying to Hannah, one of our other commentators you heard earlier today, that I've really missed, like, I got a little buzz and excitement. I mentioned earlier, it's like a kid on Christmas morning today. Unfortunately, there's this mysterious lack of voice is the proverbial terrible socks. But you know what? Doesn't matter. We've seen some wonderful Ultimate out here today, and it's just nice to see people again, man. I've really missed it. I have really missed it.
And even better, there's a whole other day to go tomorrow with 3 national championships up for grabs.
Bang, we're bringing you 5 games tomorrow. We're bringing you semi-finals from the women's and from the mixed division, and then we have the women's, the mixed and the open finals live for you and free to watch on the ULTI.TV YouTube channel. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a fun 4.5 games so far. Alba will look to close off this game in relatively short order, so they've got more time to kind of refresh, relax, maybe have a beer or two. Sounds tempting, doesn't it? Sounds very tempting. But before they can do that, they've got to finish this. More zone coming out from Bristol. I like that they've not been afraid to try and switch things up a little bit, because you never know, you might find a look that Alba struggle with, and that might be your opportunity to get on a little bit of a roll as Dick just turfs the pass. Too lackadaisical with it, and Bristol will scarcely have a better break opportunity than this.
Well, often zone's associated with trying to slow a game down. Often it's associated with teams getting in front. But as Bristol have just proven, it can be used to great effect in other ways too.
In that time, they're just, if we just force Alba to, be patient, make as many passes as possible, even if they're high completion percentage passes, every now and again, one of them will go wrong, a little scuba over the mark to open up that break side space. That makes me very, very happy indeed. All I need is a thumber, and I can go to bed a happy man. That's a blade around into the breadbasket eventually. Bristol looking to start the second half in red-hot fashion. But just a miscommunication in the back. Not there. And there's no doubt what Alba want to do. They're looking for it all. Oh, the dagger. Unbelievable. Bristol, they had a glorious opportunity for a break. Errant throw in the backfield. And Alba, it's almost just, all right. Now, enough of this. Pick it up, lulls it deep into the path of the receiver. Fraser Park makes the catch, and already Alba looking strong in the second half with a slightly clumsy turn, but made it stick at the second time. They're up 9-3.
If you opened a dictionary and looked up the word counter-attack, you'd just see a picture of that play or a little YouTube clip of that play, wouldn't you?
What kind of dictionaries are you reading? Mine do not tend to be illustrated.
A modern one, like what all the other kids read these days.
Aren't you older than me? Actually, no, you're probably not older than me, to be fair.
I've got no idea. Age is not an issue for me.
No, I feel it's really annoying when I see lots of young players doing well. It makes me feel really old. I hate it. Ugh. Like looking at this Alba roster, generally they're all pretty young. They do have some veterans on the team. Thinking about, like, the Webbs have been a fixture of Scottish Ultimate for a long time. They're up. They're 40 plus, I think. As that pull is going to... Well, it's a rare bad pull from Alba, whose pulling has been immaculate so far today. That one goes out of the far sideline in the end zone, and that will be a gratefully received brick from Bristol. But, of course, I guess the problem with that is that, obviously they're going to brick it in that situation, but Alba have their defense already set by the time the disc is in at the brick mark.
What it does give is Bristol just that little bit more time just to work out that defense and work out how they're going to make those gains, just like they have there.
Yeah, the handlers walking up to the brick mark, and they're already scanning and surveying the field in front of them. That was an ambitious, expansive inside-out shot, but the precision required to pull it off would have been quite something. And now Alba looking downfield. The deep game has been on form for them. The defender does the right thing, drops to track the runner. Thought there was a little pop into the front of the end zone, but it's not there. Still count rising. And Easton pointed where he wanted it, but trying to scythe it through the Bristol defence. The layout gets the disc back for the men in red.
First sign of nerves from Alba, really.
Well, if they had showed nerves, that might have quietened them. Easily picked off, and now their D-line goes to work once more. Easton shooting deep towards the far side, in stride, just curling that run. At the end is Hapgood, and Alba just keeping that foot on the pedal to the metal, really. And Bristol have no answers. 10-3 now. This is getting into a bit of a trouncing, if it wasn't already.
It is, and you've got to look at the respective body language of the two teams as well. And you can't really see this being turned around at this stage, although as a neutral you always want to see the comeback, you always want to see that train steaming through the station.
One of the beautiful things about Ultimate is that, you know, you have to score that last point to win. You can't just time waste. I mean, you can time waste to an extent, but in the end you have to get over the line. And I have seen teams be 12-3 up and games to 13 and just gradually choke it away. And it is painful to watch if you're a fan of that team. But it is also very fun sometimes as well to see that big comeback happen, because you get a couple of points in and all of a sudden the nerves perhaps begin to creep in. It's an interesting experience, although I must admit so far Alba show no signs of slowing down.
And that is the beauty of our sport, isn't it, Benji?
It is. Well, it is one of the many beauties of our sport. It's like one of the 7 wonders of the ultimate world, up there with you know, like playing mixed and self-refereeing and disrespectful JCs, probably. Here's the Bristol offense coming back out to work, and there's a stoppage for a pick. Just slowing the game down. See, one of the things you see is that when teams go one-to-one against vertical stacks, often, you know, receivers cross over each other and those picks do occur. But the pressure is tight. Going to have to be a very long around break, but it does find Penning. Motions with his offhand where he wants his cutters to go to. Sitting underneath, just about finds enough space in the IO channel. The put goes up deep. That's a lovely throw. Peters reels it in, looking for a continuation into the end zone. Or will he go to the spikes? No, instead. Breaks the force around. Uses that lefty advantage to really get outside the pitch. Find his receiver in the end zone. Just trying to get a spy on the shirt number. Looks like number 27, who is Peter Rowlandson for Bristol. That's their first point of the second half, I think. Puts them now down 10-4 still, so a lot of work to go. But if you want to get the break train going, it's got to leave the station on an offense first. I apologise for that horrible cliche.
You left me absolutely speechless, and I'm not sure whether it's through wonderment or through disgust. Thinking about the 7 wonders of the ultimate world.
All right, yeah.
I wonder if anybody that's watching or listening right now might want to put in the chat on our YouTube video what their 7 wonders would be, or if they've got one in particular they'd definitely like to nominate for the 7 wonders of the ultimate world. They could just type it in that chat box and let us know.
I would like to nominate the women's final from EBUCC a few years ago out in Castelldefels in Spain. That phenomenal Seagulls versus Cosmic Girls game that might still be the best game I've ever commentated on. And also the beer race. Ultimate is a varied sport, and as well as the competition on the field, the spirit and the atmosphere of it is a huge part of why it's become so beloved to so many people. Here's Stainsby for Alba. Very nearly called them Black Eagles again. Stopped myself in time. Although I then mentioned that I stopped myself in time, thus shattering the illusion. So well done, Benj. Oh, wow, that is absolutely speared deep. Right into the hands of Agnew. What a throw.
It's just pinpoint, isn't it? even if Bristol D-line did have a response to that, the throw is just so pinpoint that it's always going to be difficult. The most you can do is make that into a 50-50.
I mean, that is people out there playing loose, having fun, and just going to look at it again. Disc swings into the centre. Boxall has a think. Yeah, go on. And he just yeets it deep, I believe is the technical term. And look at that, right in stride for Agnew.
Perfect.
That is a team playing at the pinnacle of their performance, I think.
So confident. Very confident play.
I mean, it is brassy in the extreme, really, isn't it?
Brassy.
Brassy. Brassy. I don't think I can get away with saying brassy. Doesn't sound right coming from me, to be honest. I'm not northern enough. 11-4. Wow. I'll tell you what. On the back of this performance and how they've played today, Alba aren't just, they're not in the semi-finals to make up the numbers. They are going to push Chevron in that semi-final tomorrow. And they've got their eyes set not just on being in the final, on winning that final as well. And they're looking pretty good, has to be said.
And with the weight of Scotland's support behind them as well, who would deny them the opportunity?
I think the thing is as well, not just the support of Scotland, but everyone loves an underdog. So I think, for a neutral perspective, there's probably going to be a decent swell of support behind Alba from that contingent of the stands as well. It's a beautiful afternoon, nearly early evening. Well, it's now. I'm still afternoon here at the Highfield Sports Complex on in the heart of Nottingham, really. I mean, beautiful setting. As much as I love the wind farm, it is not the most picturesque of places. You've got a nice boulevard in the background, the trams going by. You've got the hockey and tennis centres over to our right. It's a lovely setting, and we've been treated to a real feast of ultimate today.
All credit to the ground staff here at the University of Nottingham as well. They've prepared some nice pitches for us, not just this show pitch that we're showing you today, but also behind us on the other side of the main pavilion here. The pitches look in immaculate condition. I know from having visited here a couple of weeks ago.
Doing our site report.
Indeed. The ground staff been working very, very hard to get the pitches ready for us this weekend. And
they've even been using a little bit of they've been doing some creative solutions to line painting, you were telling me. And I found this fascinating, so I hope everyone else does.
Indeed, I'm told that they actually use a robot now to paint the lines. So for a standard Frisbee field, it takes around 23 minutes in comparison to however much longer it takes for one person.
A few hours, yeah, with the classic man with the pushing the paint. Hanging pool, not very deep, but it gives Alba time to set. I'll tell you what, robots, they're going to take over soon, aren't they? And I genuinely found that fascinating. Peters really grinding out some yardage underneath, swinging into the centre here is Summerby. Breaks around towards the near side. Thinks about going for the inside. Instead, they're going to look back in towards the centre of the pitch where Summerby has it back in his hands. 14-year veteran is Summerby. And he has it in his hands, but there is a pick downfield. I don't think it affected that pass, so it will stay in Summerby's possession. Previously played on an international stage, played for France in 2012 for the World Ultimate and Guts Championships out in Sakai, Japan. Previously played in France as well for Is No Good.
It's quite a CV, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And Summerby looking around, using that experience to break the mark. Very clear demonstration of where he wants the cut to go, but it's not quite there. Looking for the inside channel, and Timothy Peters makes the catch. And that was a nice possession there from Bristol. Calm, confident, worked it down, and a good hold there. Nice clean hold as well, but there's still a big deficit, down 11-5.
It's interesting to see Peters earlier on trying to make an impact with the big throws, the big downfield throws, whereas now he's having a much bigger impact in and around that end zone line with the smaller throws, the big cuts. And it's good to see him get over his initial frustration earlier on in the game and start to have that positive impact for Bristol.
All right, in and around that end zone line. I will give you in and around that end zone or around the end zone line. I will not have in and around the end. This is my biggest bugbear with commentary, not for you, but just like I've listened to so many football commentators use the word, oh, he's really in and around him there. He's not in him. That is not possible. He is around him. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Sorry. That is my... God. I appreciate that. I'm now a man ranting about other commentators while wearing sunglasses and wearing a gilet, and I am very much a parody of everything I used to love. So sorry, everyone. Anyway, back to the Frisbee, which is the important thing here.
All you can do is control what you can control, Benji.
Control the uncontrolled. Control the controllables.
That's it.
You are right. There's no point in getting angry when people are making mistakes in and around the commentary booth. Got you. I've got you there, haven't I? Oh, we have a laugh up here. Oh, hello. Not quite sure what happened there. Completely different pages there. And Sanders, you know, played for Clapham once upon a time, although now, of course, playing for Bristol. And he's wide open there. Well, don't need to have played at the top level to receive that pass in plenty of space. And Bristol, well, there's another break for them, so they're still a huge way down. But that will please them substantially. 6-11, the current score.
Just another one of those little momentum switches that we were discussing earlier. And really, they're running out of points. They're running out of time as well to mount this comeback. So it's crucial that they build on this from now, Bristol, and that they give it everything they've got to Alba for the rest of the time.
So there's the turnover. It's the high release backhand to Bristol, which is not great when you play for Alba, I will be honest. But, you know, they were kind of gifted an opportunity a little bit there with the turnover, and they were maybe gifted an opportunity a little bit there with the goal as well, because Sanders is in so much space. And a comfortable catch. Also, what I do like to see is, you know, players, even when you've got the space, jumping to make the catch, A, because you're getting it at chest height, so your body's a little bit more of a backboard, and B, if you're trying to catch it when you're running at kind of full pelt, you're naturally your body's it's not on a constant plane, it's going up and down a little bit. So just jumping, you steady yourself a little bit, makes that catch a little bit more secure. This is a very good pull from Bristol. Will it be too good? Oh, that is beautiful. Shaw catches it at the back of his own end zone, goes forward to Stainsby. But Bristol getting their defense set. Alba getting a couple of options going deep. They don't like them. Agnew activates from that far side, makes that diagonal cut under. He's got Dick in plenty of space. Thinks about the deep shot. He's looking for it, perhaps. Instead, another big gainer. See Agnew do a lot of work in the handler space, but this time he's being a real threat downfield. Of course, experience playing with GB mixed in the past, both at senior level and as a junior as well. Strong memories of him being a leader on the under-23 mixed side back in 2015 in London. And, you know, bossing it at the senior level as well as Alba open up that advantage. Their score now is 12-6.
What I really enjoyed about that point was that you could just see the huge amount of work that Alba were putting in with those deep cuts. There were 2, almost 3 at times going, stretching that Bristol defence, and ultimately they couldn't live with it, and Alba have scored another excellent point.
Yeah, just getting it a replay, and again, they're nice. They're good throws into space, and the receivers thus are catching it, and they're already looking downfield, so they've got that easy flow because they're surveying the options while they're catching the disc. The throw goes out to this near side turn. Look downfield, Shaw pivots out, attempted foot block doesn't go. Steedman makes the catch, and he's the man. He's got experience making big catches at Nationals because he scored the winning point at Nationals 2 years ago to send Smog 2 into Euros. So, you know, got experience of making big catches on the big stage.
What a year that was. Smog, 2 teams into Euros.
I mean, phenomenal achievement, really. Phenomenal achievement. And you know what? They'll try and push it again this week, and I don't know whether they would take up the bids if they got them. But you'd have to be tempted, providing you could get the time off work, which I know is difficult for a lot of people, especially when it might be extended due to various quarantine protocols, which can change seemingly very quickly and without warning. Here's Sanders, goes into the centre. Bristol's offence going a little bit more quickly now. It's got a bit of pace towards it, and a strip is going to be uncontested there. Terry going for the layout bid, but it was in the receiver's grasp before he made contact. Taylor it is, keeps the disc in his possession, and it's quickly checked back in. Bit of a tongue twister, that one in the end. It's a little bit awkward getting that throw off, but it did get off and it was completed. And now Taylor looking, dishes it up the line. And the big deep put comes in stride and in the end zone. Reeled in for Bristol, who have, you know, I think they've played much better in this second half than they did in the first. But the problem is they've just given themselves too much to do here. And unless they can find probably another couple of gears, Alba probably have enough of a cushion now to make it comfortably into the semi-finals tomorrow.
I think so. Evens for the second half so far, which is a much improved performance for Bristol, as you say. But just that little 5-point cushion, you wonder if Bristol are going to be able to get over that.
You get the feeling that it's probably too much, especially at this late stage of the game. I'll tell you what, the sun is firmly out in full force now. It's a thoroughly warm afternoon in Nottingham. It's lovely. There's nowhere else I would rather be, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here with you at UKU Nationals here on ULTI.TV. Benjamin Rees alongside Rob Henderson for the rest of this game, our last game of the day here. Alba currently with a very sizable margin over Bristol. Get off the pitch.
There's not much better than watching some top-level ultimate. The sun just gently falling to the tree line, warming us up nicely. We haven't seen much of it today, have we, around this side of the building?
No, and to be fair, I've seen some ice creams floating around. So if I think that is my first point of call after this game. Bid comes forward from the Bristol player. Didn't get there, but he put enough pressure on, did Summerby. And so, you know, maybe Bristol do have the break train left. They're not going to let Alba get away with this one so easily, perhaps. That one's ripped towards the near side of the end zone. Peters makes the grab. 3 on the bounce now for Bristol.
There are some fantastic celebrations coming out as well. I mean, we saw a brilliant spike in the last point. There was a celebration from the player that threw the assist there. I love to see it. I love to see that little bit of charisma, a little bit of character come into the game.
A little bit of verve and panache, perhaps. I mean, here's the thing, right? You know, obviously you're taking it seriously, but playing Frisbee's really fun, and scoring is really fun, and it is to be celebrated, I believe. I love that after they got the turn, Bristol, you know, like, let's go, let's move it quickly, let's not give the Alba defence a chance to set. And this one, arcing throw across the end zone. Peters in plenty of space. And now, it's 12-8. Just under an hour played in this game. So getting towards the, you know, last quarter of an hour or so of the day, before everyone can, you know, rest up ready for the semi-finals and for the finals tomorrow, which, you know, I am thoroughly looking forward to.
There's some fantastic matchups that are already coming tomorrow. We have live here for you on ULTI.TV. We have the mixed and the women's division semi-finals, and then we have all 3 national championship finals for you, exclusively live here and free to watch.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it good? And if you are enjoying the coverage and you are in a position to do so, you can become a patron on our Patreon page. You can find more details on our website, which is www.ULTI.TV. If you're watching us on YouTube, which I assume you are, if you're not watching us on YouTube, then I'm very curious. Please tell me how. But you actually find all those details are actually in the description of the YouTube video, which is very handy. So you don't even need to type it in. You can just click it there.
It'll open in a new tab. It won't even interrupt your viewing pleasure.
Will it? I mean, I would probably press Control or Command if you're on a Mac just to make sure. Well, that is the pull from Bristol is a decent pull. I mean, to say it was offsides is kind of understating it. It was very offsides. I don't think Alba really minds too much. As this throw goes deep, we've seen Dick doing a lot of handling, and that time I think he got his line a little bit wrong. He began to come towards it, and then decided that maybe he should have kept going straight all along, and it's overthrown. And so Bristol, can they keep this break train rolling? I think that there is, it's kind of the read of a player who you usually see in the hander space rather than going deep. Player wide open now on the near side for Bristol. Gets the swing relatively centrally. Big swing around, caught low, but it is kept alive by Taylor. And now Taylor's trying to find something downfield. That's a big gainer. Rises high, makes the catch with two hands. Looking deep once more. Oh, Agnew got a little bit of a mess there. He went for it once and he thought, oh, maybe I can get a second effort. But Sanders tracks it in. And now going across the end zone, Sanders once more. Oh, the Bristol break train is going full steam ahead. That's now 4 in a row. And they're only 3 points down now at 12-9. Is the comeback on?
Choo-choo. What fantastic play from Bristol to haul themselves back into this. The question is now, who's got the legs? We were talking earlier about Alba, all those deep cuts happening over and over again, 2, maybe even 3 at a time. Bristol just slowly working their way up the pitch and then starting to throw all those deep cuts in towards the end. Especially as they reach in and around the end zone line.
I will throw my water at you. I will do it. Interestingly, so both of these teams have come off. They've had a game off. For Bristol, they had a tight game against Lemmings. For Alba, they went down very narrowly to Clapham. So they're perhaps a little bit more, has affected the amount of fatigue, the lactic acid build-up in the legs. Or I'm cramping up just thinking about it, which probably shows how disgustingly out of shape I am. There's a reason I'm up here and not down there.
It's what Tournament Ultimate is all about.
Yeah,
whichever team wins goes through to the semi-finals.
And especially having come off playing these individual, games, playing 1, maybe 2 games in a weekend in the National League or the National Cup, adjusting to that tournament-style physical test is very different. But that time, well, Alba seemed to have the answers and they aced it there. Clean hold, going 4 points back once more. They finally put the brakes on and stopped the bleeding. And they're 13-9 up now, 2 points away from a spot in tomorrow's semi-finals.
Fantastic response from Alba, exactly what they needed at that moment in time. 3 points on the bounce for Bristol, just to put a stop to it, put the brakes on, and give their D-line a chance to go and be heroes.
Seeing it again on the replay. They love doing this, Alba. Those little lead passes to the handlers, and they're so nice if you can get them off, because the handler's running on towards the disc and they're catching it and they're you know, they're seeing the field clearly in front of them, which is lovely, and B, you're catching it and you're already in that motion to throw. Keeps the offense really moving quickly and smoothly. It's great to see.
A perfectly weighted lead pass is worth its weight in gold. That's what I always say.
Really? You always say that?
Always. You
Always.
can't stop me.
It's the only thing you say. He wakes up in the morning. I jest. Pick. I tell you what, the hand signals have made our life in the booth so much easier. They are a very welcome introduction when they first came in. Now I think everyone's used to them, and it's good because it, you know, I mean, partly because it makes our job easier, but the most important thing is that it helps the game flow more smoothly. So there's no longer the 5 minutes of, hey, what was the call? What's going on? It's nice and clear. You can get on with the game a lot more quickly, which is what people want to do.
I've been to see a couple of...
I think there's going to be, speaking of a little bit of a discussion, I think there's going to be a strip called on that throw. It was a fantastic layout, using the full length there, but whether he got there in time is going to be the question. Just seeing a replay of the previous point here. I think what's happened is the strip call's been uncontested, so we've decided that the replay's not worth showing.
Excellent judgment from the ULTI.TV crew as always.
But a misjudgment there from Bristol. Alba with a break opportunity now of their own. First chance for the Alba D-line to save the field in a few points, and we'll see if they can make the most of it. They're in the red zone already. Centering pass goes to Easton. Fakes the kind of underhanded scuba, and then over the top to Tate. He didn't really have to climb the ladder for that one, but hey, opening up the locker a little bit more, being cheeky and expansive with the throws. Alba
Now,
just a 1 point away from the semis.
That's it, game to 15. As we start to reach the end of this first day of UKU Nationals, Benji, what would you say has been your standout moment of the day today?
Honestly, I think not getting here first thing in the morning, because there was no, I think when we arrived, it was just, you know, UKU setting everything up. And as good as it was to see Cy and Meg and the team, you know, it's like, you know, just when first, you know, just before the first game kind of kicked off, so to speak, like, there's that buzz going around the site. Everyone's excited to go. The hooter goes, the first pool goes up, and it's almost like we never really left.
It's like that moment where your favourite band walks on at Reading Festival or whatever it might be. You've been waiting so long since you bought the tickets to be watching them. They strike that first chord and all is well with the world. Yeah, you take the earplugs out and you're like, just for this brief moment, I'm just going to really drink and soak it all in. And especially with the sun casting a beautiful evening light now, I mean, what more would you want to be doing? Bristol trying to extend this game a little bit longer. Underneath pass, it is contested. A hand in the way from Joel Terry. Going into the backfield for Philip Webb, who seems to have found the fountain of youth. And that one, it's low, and it is a really good catch made in the end for Alba. And that will do it. Andrew Warnock catching the winning score. Alba have seen off Bristol. They close out a 15-9 win, and we will see them against Chevron. Or we won't see them, but they will have a semi-finals place against Chevron Action Flash tomorrow morning. Well earned, I think. A very deserved victory in the end, I think. I was really pleased to see Bristol make much more of a fist of it in the second half, because we know that they can play to that intensity, we know that they can play to that level, but ultimately Alba held their nerve, and their slick offense with those perfectly weighted lead passes, with the deep cuts that just kept coming and coming and coming, proved to be too much.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the halves in isolation. Second half, Alba still won it, but it was only 7-6. The problem was, by that point, you know, maybe Alba were not quite at the intensity they were in the first half when they were rabid and ferocious, and Bristol just couldn't deal with it, and they went into half 8-3 up, and by that point, I think the game was mostly over as a contest. And that is us for the day. You know, when I woke up this morning at God knows when, I must admit I was slightly woozy and groggy and wasn't sure how it would go, but I thoroughly enjoyed it so much. It's so good to be back. Oh, my word, is it good to be back. And the best part is, Rob, we're only halfway done, and tomorrow gets even better, because this is where it really heats up. 2 semi-finals from the mixed, and 1 each from the mixed and the women's division, and then bam, 3 finals back to back. 1 in each, 1 for every division. We haven't even finished today, and already I am teeming with excitement for tomorrow.
The biggest day on the UK Ultimate calendar, one might say.
You know what? I think you'd be hard-pressed to disagree with it. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching our coverage today of UKU Nationals, brought to you by the team here at ULTI.TV. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you have enjoyed the coverage, then, you know, get on there and share the links around for the coverage tomorrow. Interact with us on the socials. Huge shout-out to everyone who's contributed today, be that just kind of watching the game, you know, chatting around in the comments. It's always good to see the interaction going on there as well, or whether you've been able to make a one-off donation or even been generous enough to sign up to the Patreon. Whatever you can do, it has all been greatly appreciated, and it's made today such a highlight. You know, I've been waiting for this for 2 years, and it hasn't disappointed so far. As we mentioned, it gets better and better. Thanks to everyone at the venue here at the Highfield Sports Complex from the University of Nottingham. Thanks to everyone at the UKU, has been very helpful today as well. For all our ULTI.TV crew, Milan, Felix, Rob and Chips as well. For our commentary team so far today, myself, Benji Reese, Tom Stiles, Hannah Pendlebury, Harry Mason and Rob Henderson hopping on the comms as well. Greatly appreciated. We will all be back tomorrow when we get into the thick of things for finals day. Until then, take care, have a fantastic evening, and we will see you on the other side.
ULTI.TV